And they know it goes like that. But as an outsider who might naturally push in the chorus or whatever, finding themselves to slow down a little bit, gets a bit tricky. You know.
Interesting.
But I did the first two. I won't. As I say, I confess to not enjoying them that much. But the Spanish one, it wasn't Primavera, but it was at the same site, so it was fucking big.
Yeah.
It was good. You know, I was pleased. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
You know, but I like those challenges. You know, you only don't know if you can do it or not. Like
putting yourself in there, exactly. Yeah, putting yourself out there.
So that then leads to Lush,
right?
Reforming.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get involved with that?
Well, the Lush gig. Again, Spitfire supported Lush,
right.
So I knew the band really well. Chris was a really good friend of mine as the old drummer, which is the reason why they split up. Because when he took his own life, the band split up, and they hadn't played for 20 years. But I got wind of the fact that they might be getting back together. And I was like, I can do that. So I called up Emma and just said to her, look, I've got tip off that you might be getting back together. And I was recording at Rack Studios with a hip hop act actually. And at the time, a band called Hawk House. So I was doing some stuff for them. And I called up and she was like, oh, we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're doing. And then they had this discussion to call me back a couple of days later. So we would like you to do it. Brilliant. So, but it was all under wraps. No one was to know about the Lush reunion, and there was a lot of work to do. You know, the band hadn't played for 20 years. Guitars had been in the loft. There was, so we did some rehearsing down here in Brighton, just to try and get everyone's confidence up and get going again. But it was good. The shows were great. We did 2 nights at the Roundhouse, sold out. 2 nights at the Roundhouse.
Do you like playing there?
I've always wanted to play the Roundhouse. Yeah. Love that place.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's become one of the main venues at London venues now, isn't it?
Got to check out at the Drive-In about 6 months ago. It was good. We got lucky. Like Pip said, "Do you want? What are you doing tonight?" I was like, nothing. Yeah, thinking I wasn't going to do anything. He was like, "Do you want to come in?" I was like, "Yes." Yeah. And it was cracking. It was really, really.
It's just about the right size because it's not huge. And a lot of bands can get, a lot of bands can do a couple of nights there as well, or what, and sell it out. It's something. Get the bounce and I think.
It's that upper ring as well, isn't it? That it catches. That's where I think they can pack it. The extras in.
Verve done a secret, low key kind of warm up comeback thing there a few years back now, and. It wasn't a particularly good gig, to be honest, but the sound was incredible.
Yeah,
it really did.
Well, Lush pulled out the stops. They did an amazing light show, and we took some of that away with other festivals. And the American gigs, went to America twice. Played at Coachella, and we played. All the shows in America were amazing. We're looking at 2,000 to 3,000 sold out every night. Brilliant. Wow. Theatres. So it was really good. It was, I really enjoyed it, and we did a couple of radio things and stuff like that. But it was good. It's a shame it came to the end,
Is it because is it like what?
Well, the band had called it a day. They were all going to do their own thing. I think they had a really good year of it.
Why did they put it together in the first place? Like, why did they do the comeback thing? Was there anything that drove it, or?
Well, I think initially there was some really good offers on the tables, and they felt at this time it was right. It was the right time to do it. One of the reasons they hadn't done it in the past at all was Mickey throughout this whole thing she kept her job. She works for a magazine, and she was going to keep that job. But when you've been in her job for a certain amount of time, they would give you a sabbatical of extra amount of days off. So she had about an extra 40 days or something, which she said, well, this is the year I can do it because I've got to use these dates. So she was juggling them and then going to America, flying back in on the Sunday and going to work on the Monday just to do all these dates. But I managed to make it work. And of course, we've got families and things like that. And they had a good run and they decided to call it there.
Brilliant.
At the end of the year. But it was good, I enjoyed it.
Brilliant. So,
So thank you, Lush, for asking me to do it.
Yeah.
Nice playing on a big stage again. So, last song.
Yeah, let's do it.
Are we going to get emotional now, or? Well,
it's been good chatting. It's been really fun doing this, Justin. Before we go on to that last song, so thanks so much, mate, for coming in and giving us a sort of like rundown of some of your influences, 80s bands and more recent.
Yeah.
And of course, listening to your sort of the different bands you've been in, and also how you got there as well. I think that's always good for other drummers who are listening to this to sort of like go, oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
He isn't unreachable, and you can just plug away at it.
Well, my advice would be don't always follow my advice. There's some good in there, but make your own mistakes. That's what I say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the last one I've kind of chosen is a bit of a weird one, really. But I did quite a lot of driving, a lot of road trips a couple of years ago, and I was driving through Scandinavia a lot and up to Norway, and Efterklang album Pyramidia was the sort of soundtrack to a lot of that.
Yeah.
This band I'd never even heard of.
Yeah.
My wife on 4AD. Me and my wife got us tickets to go and see them at the Dome.
Right.
In
Brighton, and they were playing the album with an orchestra, symphonic orchestra, and it was just blew me away. The sound was incredible.
Right.
These horns and incredible. I highly recommend it. It's a brilliant record. And another thing, going back to the sampling thing, they made a lot of the record they went off to and that sounds a little bit pretentious, but they went to this old mining town.
Yeah.
And in Norway somewhere, and just camped up, deserted mining town.
Yeah.
Camped up for a week or whatever, and just sampled everything, all the sounds. So they're in the gymnasium.
Brilliant.
They're old drums. All the inhabitants of the place had just left. So everything was still there, and they camped out for a week in this place in the gym or whatever, and just sampled everything. So a lot of the sounds on the album are there, are in that record, and I just find that they're just a band that really still don't know much about them.
Yeah.
But
and it's like the 4AD.
They're on 4AD, yeah. And they're just really chilled. The gig was really chilled. Yeah. It was like, they came on stage, wearing dicky bows and a glass of red wine.
Oh, obviously, we'll put it up on the Spotify playlist. But what could you compare it to anything that you like?
Well, it's quite 4AD.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of atmospheric stuff going on. You can tell by the orchestras and that. It's quite dreamlike.
Yeah.
There's a particular track, Sedna, which I just find really, really quite haunting and really nice. It's really good. The great kind of soundtrack stuff, which is why I loved it for the journey.
I was going to say for journeying through that sort of landscape.
Going through the landscape when you've got waterfalls to the left, waterfalls to the right, frozen lakes. On my own, driving on my own in a van, going through the mountains. The mountains going on. You go through the tunnels, and you've got 20 minutes. You're still in the tunnel going through the mountain. Incredible. And you've got this on. It's just like. You're in another world.
That's definitely one. That's a new one for me, and I'm going to look forward to that.
But some people might not get those records, but it for me it captured that particular time.
Yeah.
And my wife, thank you for introducing them to me, and the gig at the Dome was something else.
Yeah.
There's an element of, if you like Bjork and things like that, and and she goes down that road of mad singers. There's loads of that sort of stuff on it.
Is there vocals on it?
Loads of vocals. Guys, check it. Honestly, check it out.
Yeah.
And if you could play the track now, play Sedna as the swan song to the day.
Nice. Okay.
It's a beautiful piece of work. Yeah.
I had a similar experience very recently when I went snowboarding about a month ago, I guess, and I hadn't heard Pink Floyd's new record.
Right.
And we arrived sort of as the sun was setting, and driving, listening to that, and driving through the Alps was just excellent. It's just a great way to experience a record. The darker it gets, the more you pay more attention to what you're listening to as well. It's a fact. It's magical.
One of my first experiences that on a road trip, I went to it was when the internet first kicked in, and I was living with Steve Mackey. And we managed to get one. It was like dial up. We're like, wow, Will's a massive place. This is brilliant. Let's go on a road trip. So we went to Norway again, Norway. But we just had one album. We had Ronnie Size's Represent. It just hadn't come out yet. We've got a copy of it. And we just had that in the hire car. We basically went on this tour into Tromsø, and we hired the car, and it was going to be 3 days, and we were going to be back again. So we hired the car. Wanted to see the midnight sun. That was the idea. So it was going to be 24-hour daylight all the time. We picked up this car. We drove it to the little ferry port, and we were going to sail through all the fjords all the way up to the furthest northern point you could get, and then drive all the way back quickly to get back. And we drove up to the ferry port, and there was this tiny little ferry. I was like, how the fuck are you going to get a car on the ferry? This little crane just come down and just picked it up, plonked it on the front of the boat.
What?
Like literally just on the front of this boat. We got on and we sailed for 24 hours into the midnight sun. We got off, drove to the furthest northern point you could get to. The road just ends. Looked at the 24 hours and drove all the way back with Ronnie Size.
That's amazing.
And it's just that album. Still, when I hear it, that's it.
It's cracking.
It's that 3 days.
Yeah.
But you've got to have those soundtracks occasionally.
Yeah, definitely.
And they might not mean anything to anybody else, but if you get it, that'll stay with you.
Yeah, that intimate experience with it, definitely.
I go swimming in the mountains, I go swimming in the lakes and the rivers, and it's always, if I'm going to go and drive up to Hull or something like that, I won't really think about what I'm listening to. I'll just plug it in and whatever's on's on. But when we go up in the mountains, you're always a little bit more, right, what we're going to listen to when all of a sudden we're off the main roads and all of a sudden there's mountains either side, like you say, lakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's the film score to the Fassbender film Shame.
Right.
There's a track on that called Unraveling. It's like a classic art.
It just gets you sometimes, doesn't it? That's the power of music.
It is, and you just think, it just, like you say, it just works in that kind of environment. Because
it also when you're in nature, you remove because all you're seeing is nature and natural things. You're removing the human element which you're more familiar with when you're listening to music. So
definitely.
It's cool, very cool.
All right, well, I can't thank you enough to do this,
man.
Gus. It was.
You're welcome.
We said we're gonna.
Are we done?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think
we're just getting going.
Yeah.
No, you can talk as much as you want, mate.
Well, in the future we can, I'm sure, we can do other lists and other things that you want to talk about as well.
I'm going to go and take my dog for a walk.
I knew.
And listen to F the Clown.
I knew when we was talking to him, Chris was like, "Who do you want to chat to?" I was like, "I'm going to ring Just because he's always been an absolute gent every time we've ever done anything together, and you've had a really interesting life. And
well, may that continue.
Yeah. He's not dying.
I'm still here.
Whatever's around the corner and whatever's next, then I hope it's all fantastic, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, much appreciated, Justin. Cheers, mate. And we'll call it a day there.
Yeah, mate.
Catch you soon, guys. Thank you.
Bye.